Amazing audience, we are live with Stephen Fox. Stephen, how are you doing, my friend?
Hello, great to talk to you again.
Yeah, same here, my friend. You were on the podcast, we had a great conversation, yeah, and here we are connecting. Isn't that fascinating?
Yes, I think that's an incredible journey that you're starting here.
Yeah.
And, I really admire how instead of just coming up with an idea to do something interesting and then thinking about it or talking about it to people about how cool it would be, here you are doing it. You just get up and go and take action and make something happen.
Yeah, it's important, right, in business, right? Now tell me about the action you've taken in your business. Tell me where I can get more information and what you do exactly, please.
Actions I've taken in my business. So my primary focus with my business is helping people make better financial decisions. So we make sure that we have a clear vision of what their goals are, what they want to accomplish in their life, and then we put together a plan to help them make those things happen. And we give recommendations about things like investing, taxes, insurance, estate planning, debt and cash flow, whatever areas pertain to them. And we help answer whatever questions that they have and reduce the stress in that part of their life and make sure that they achieve the things that they really want to achieve, their most important goals.
Did you hear how he said that, folks? Like, that wasn't, like, there's nothing written on the walls here. Like, this guy just said that. No, is it that you've lived that life as well? And now you're speaking from that perspective?
You mean, have I had financial struggles myself? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course. Probably more than any of the clients that I work with. Yeah.
Which is good, because if I need help, like you're the person I want to know is helping me, someone who was in the gutter and got out, yeah? And now you're helping others with that. Like, that's what I would like, not knowing that you've read a book, right?
I've made terrible financial decisions. I've been in debt multiple times and dug myself out. I've made horrible investments. I've failed to get insurance policies that I should have. Like, I've made all kinds of financial mistakes.
Yeah, which is good. No, the website I go to find out more about Steve Rogers is?
That is at nextgenfinancialplanning.com.
Love it, NextGen Financial.
Yeah, and I named it that because I primarily focus on working with younger clients. So most financial planners work with either retirees or with people who are already ultra wealthy. And part of the reason I wanted to start my own business is so that I could work with the types of people who I wanted to. I think the median age is something like 35, and they don't usually have many millions of dollars yet. We're getting started with them. Oftentimes they may not have any investments yet if they're just getting started with their careers. Maybe they have big student loans, young kids, try to buy a house for the first time. So it's very different than the audience that most financial planners work with.
Yeah, which is good. Did I call you Stephen Rogers just a bit ago?
Stephen Rogers.
If
you did, I didn't catch it.
Oh, I realized that. I think I did. Stephen Rogers is someone I interviewed, and every time I hear Stephen, I say Rogers. I'm so sorry, though, because you'll go back and listen, and did he call me Stephen Rogers? Yeah? Stephen Fox, folks. Yeah, so all right, one of the segments we love to cover is your own unique real shoes. I see you're wearing an interesting lacing with your shoes, right? What is that about? You're wearing brown shoes and blue laces.
I gotta say that to whatever extent I am even a little bit fashionable, my wife deserves full credit. She actually picked these shoes out for me and decided to put some colored laces in there to spice it up a little bit, make it more interesting. And surprisingly enough, people compliment it and seem to love it all the time.
Yeah.
So I'll keep wearing
it's
it.
It's like Segway. My wife. So what are some types of shoes you've worn from 1 to 12, 12 to 24, and now?
Different types of shoes I've worn in my life. 1 to 12 was usually probably like some old gym shoes that had a bunch of holes in them, and the bottom and the front by the toes is kind of flipping off.
Yeah.
And I wore through so many shoes when I was a kid. We didn't have a whole lot of money growing up, and I didn't really care about appearances because I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I liked being really active, running around a lot, so I really tore up shoes.
Yeah. You said gym in the gym, you said?
No, gym shoes.
Gym shoes, okay.
I would just wear them, I don't know, with jeans to school or
when
I was playing in the park with friends, whatever.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Chicago.
Okay.
A little older than that, I guess in high school, I wore wrestling shoes. I was on the wrestling team there, and you wear special shoes so you don't slip on the mat or hurt your ankle or something.
Yeah.
After that, after high school, I joined the Marine Corps, so I guess I was wearing combat boots or the shoes for your dress uniform. Let's see, what else? I've worn a lot of running shoes. I like running marathons and such, triathlons. Now I wear these fancy brown shoes or other shoes that...
Do you like it? Do you like the fancy shoes?
Sometimes.
Okay. It looks comfortable.
Yeah, I noticed that sometimes if you look good, you feel good in general, in whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And that was an important lesson to learn in several different times in my life. And it's true in my current career, just like it has been at other times in the past.
It's amazing.
The way you look does have a big impact on the way you feel.
Yeah, I'm loving the shoes question. Like, it took a while to get to this place with the shoes question, but yeah, definitely it marks and impresses on who you are, the shoes you've worn, yeah? And I love your let's say, humility in terms of, you know, where you've been and where you are today. I see things in it though, like the competitive part of you, I'm guessing, the wrestling, the military, yeah? And know who you are in terms of just like, I mean, I think your wife has added that to remind you of, you know, she's there with you as you walk along a path, yeah? Which
absolutely
is pretty
makes
cool.
me think of her, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. She must be amazing as well, yeah?
She is. There's a reason I married her, a lot of reasons.
And then you have a daughter, you said, yeah? Which is super cool, yeah? Do you have any regrets when you look back from that time to now? Do you have any regrets?
I don't know. I mean, I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, like most people do. I don't think that I regret any of them, though, because I like where I am in my life right now. And if I had made different decisions, even if they would have had better short-term outcomes, I might be in a different place than I am right now. So I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I love that. When you heard that this guy, or before we even do that, what are you most excited about right now?
Most excited about in my life in general? Probably my business expanding right now. I'm finding lots of new people to work with. I'm moving into a bigger office space so that I can hire more people and have a bigger impact. And I think that's the most exciting thing going on. That, and also my daughter, I told you a little bit before about how quickly she's changing and growing and how crazy she's getting and how fun she is to hang out with, singing songs and dancing and playing. She's a lot of fun, very exciting too every day. The
impact of having control of your finances also impacts the way you enjoy your family, doesn't it?
Certainly, yeah. If you remove a big stressor from life and you create the opportunity to do other things for your family that you might not otherwise be able to.
Yeah. There's like a space that you're in when you don't have to worry about finances and you're with your family. You're able to be present, and I found that to be very valuable. So well done. When you heard that this guy from the Caribbean was coming to meet you, what did you think? I mean, you did say something to the beginning in terms of what it was, right? But what did you think? Like, what was the thought immediately?
When I heard that you were going on this trip to interview more people, my first thought was that's incredible that you're taking on a challenge of that scope. That it'd be very easy to sit at home and interview more podcast guests around the world through the internet, and you were doing a good job of that, and I enjoyed listening to some of them. But to take on this additional challenge, I just thought it was really incredible to set that example of taking action on something and doing something that most people wouldn't do.
Yeah.
So that was my first thought was, wow, that guy's probably pretty awesome if he's taking on a challenge like that when he doesn't really have to, just for fun, just to do it.
Yeah. In hindsight, I'm wondering, I'm joking.
Reminds me a little bit of somebody who took on a somewhat similar challenge. I guess it's different in a lot of ways, but there's a guy named James Lawrence. He goes by the nickname of the Iron Cowboy. And one thing that he did a few years ago was he did 50 Ironman triathlons in all 50 states in 50 days. So one Ironman triathlon every single day. Wow. And for anybody who's maybe listening and doesn't know what an Ironman is, it's a triathlon where you do a 2.4 mile swim and then a 112 mile bike ride, and then you run a 26.2 mile marathon all the way through. So I've done one of those in my life. Loved it, almost killed me. This guy did 50 in all 50 states in 50 days. He would just do it and then travel overnight to the next state. And he was actually the first person that crossed my mind when I heard about this journey you're trying to go on of interviewing so many people over such a long journey.
So you're a numbers guy, right? And numbers like stick out to me.
More or less.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I'm not sure if you've had this experience, but I've had an experience where you can see numbers repeat themselves in places that you are, right? Yeah. So what I'm seeing is like today, so we were visiting the Icon building, and John Ramirez, right, was just telling a story. Like when he heard what I was doing, he was like, hey, have you heard what has happened in New Orleans with the guys they interviewed 50 people in one state with one question, right? I mean, you just came up and you're like 50 states, one guy, 50 triathlons, yeah?
Sure.
And he like you know, in New Orleans they did 50 people and they would just ask them like one question, and the question was, how would you like to see your today end? Is that accurate, Amanda? What would you like to happen by the end of the day? It's a good question, isn't it?
It's a great question. If you're going to ask the same question to many people, I think that's a pretty good one to choose.
Yeah, it's
either that or tell me a story about your shoes that you're wearing.
Yeah, it was just fascinating how that popped up again. And it's funny, numbers in your finances represent your life. Yeah, numbers as you go across your journey as well represent for me confirmation that you are where you should be. So I'm very glad to have had that experience, and going over all of those states to be at this specific place to have this conversation with you. So thank you for that, right? And for showing up as well. Yeah. So in closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would just add that you're demonstrating with what you're doing here, and I've learned many times in my life that taking action, even no matter how small, taking action towards something that's important to you or towards something that can be very meaningful in your life is a critically important step. Don't worry about this huge mountain that's in front of you and stop any progress because you think that it's too hard and there's too much and there's no way it can be done. Just take one tiny little step and then one other tiny little step and do some kind of action. Make forward progress, constantly make forward progress. Get 1% better every day, and you can accomplish a lot more than you think you might otherwise be able to.
Yeah, love it. Well said. Next Gen Financial. Boom. Well, Steve, this was a great pleasure. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you, Angel.
Did you have fun?
I did.
High five. Boom.